So, a very good morning to all of you. Jai Hind and welcome to the Raj Malhotra IAS, the daily current affairs and MCQ series. I hope that all are doing good. So, let's get started. The first article that we are discussing today that is regarding the ATL Innovation Mission and the ATL Space Challenge 2021. So what becomes important from a prelims perspective is the space innovations, Niti Aayog, ATL Innovation Mission, right, which have been involved in this particular challenge. So right now, the Niti Aayog, along with the ATL Innovation Mission, they have announced the results for the ATL Space Challenge that was conducted. This space challenge was launched, in 2021 itself. That is the ATL Space competition, and it was a huge success. It saw participation from all across the country. Diverse participants had enrolled in themselves in this particular challenge, and this was basically to encourage young minds to get involved into developing something new for innovations related to the space sector, right? So that is how this challenge was undertaken. Then the participants, they submitted their entries through the online portal, certainly, right? And in that, ATL Innovation Mission, along with the National Institution for Transforming India, that is the Niti Aayog, they played the pivotal role, right? So that is regarding this article. Let's take the question now. Hanji. So which of the following statements is or are correct with respect to ATL Space Challenge? First, it was aligned with the World Space Week 2021, which is observed each year at the global level in order to celebrate the contributions of space science and technology. Second, Indian Space Research Organization ISRO and the Central Board of Secondary Education CBSE were the collaborators in it. And third, its objective is to enable innovation among school students to create something in space sector. So what do you think should be the answer here? 1, 2 and 3, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 2, or just 1 and 3 only? Right, so that is regarding the ATL Space Challenge. So please mark the answers in the comment section. Okay, great. So look, when we talk about the ATL Space Challenge, right? So it was not just the Niti Aayog and the ATL Innovation Mission, but along with that, there was also ISRO and the Central Board of Secondary Education, that is CBSE, which were the collaborators in it. So the second statement is obviously correct. Then when you talk about the World Space Week, right? This World Space Week 2021, that certainly was in the mind while the ATL Space Challenge was being launched in the previous year, that it was aligned with the World Space Week. So first is also true. Then the last statement, that is the objective, or the fundamental thing which we are trying to achieve through the ATL Space Challenge is certainly to promote innovation among school students, especially these young minds who would be interested maybe in pursuing science or space sector further in the future. And right now also they are young brilliant minds who can give innovative new ideas. So for question number 1, all the statements stand to be true. Your answer will be 1, 2 and 3, right? So that is with respect to the ATL Space or the ATL Innovation Mission and the ATL Space Challenge 2021, which was aligned with the World Space Week 2021. So the World Space Week is observed from the 4th of 10th October each year, right? And they certainly, that is to celebrate the contributions of space science and technology towards humankind, right? So that is with respect to the ATL Space Challenge. I believe everybody's clear on that front. Okay, great. Moving to the next article. Now this is something that has been a bone of contention. The talks have been going on, and this is the another 14th round of India China commander corps commander level meeting that was held in at the meeting point at the Chushul Moldo border between India and China, and that this particular meeting has been held on the Chinese side, right? So representatives have been there from both the sides, and one good thing is that they were able to reach some common ground and release a joint statement, right? Remember the last time when the talks were conducted at the corps commander level, there was no joint statement that was issued, right? It was separate statements which were issued by both the Indian and the Chinese sides, and they were contradictory, or they were, you can say, they were, both the statements blamed each other, right? So this time, this is, you can say, a slight progress that has been there in the bilateral relations on the two sides between the two countries, and the, dispute and the peace and tranquility as far as the line of actual control in the western sector of Ladakh is concerned, right? So that is regarding this article. We'll discuss some of the other things with this question here. So, which of the following statements is or are incorrect with respect to India-China relations? First, at the Corps Commander meeting, the Indian and the Chinese delegations had participation from their armies along with their foreign ministry officials. And the second statement reads, the Standing Committee of China's National People's Congress passed a law for the protection and exploitation of the country's land border areas that came into effect from January 2022. So, what should be the answer here? Only one, only two, both one and two, neither one nor two. Yes, I'll take a halt here. You can quickly mark your answers. Right. So this has been an issue that has been in news for long, है ना? So there are chances that UPSC might ask question on it. Right. So let's begin the discussion. The first statement regarding the Corps Commander level meeting that included, delegations from the Indian Army, the Chinese Army, the People's Liberation Army, and also Ministry of External Affairs from India, right, and the Chinese Foreign Ministry officials. So that is correct. The representation was both from the armed forces and from the ministerial level by the Foreign Ministry or the External Affairs Ministry, as is the case with India. Then when you talk about this particular statement, this is very important, right? Whatever is happening between, the, or at the Indo-China LAC, the line of actual control, that certainly has to do a lot with this particular piece of legislation that has been, that was passed last year, but that has been brought into effect from January 2021. The 1st of January 2022, sorry, my bad. 1st of January 2022, this legislation has come into effect, right? So here both the statements are true, so your answer will be, incorrect statement is none, right? So neither one nor two. Question 2 answer will be D. So let's, take a look at the legislation that we are talking about, right? So this China's new law on land borders, which was passed last year in the month of October, that has been, brought into force January 1st, 2022. And this law, it, encourages Chinese to develop the villages for civilians in the border areas, right? So what does this particular thing mean? This means that the Chinese are certainly going to up the ante against India, which has been witnessed in the form of, whatever has been happening at the Arunachal border, right? The Arunachal Pradesh, all the areas, all the local areas in the state of Indian state of Arunachal Pradesh, they have been, the Chinese have been trying to rename those areas. So what exactly is that showing? That they are trying to encourage what the, defense, the social and economic development in border areas. How exactly? By the development of villages for civilians in border areas, right? So in this particular sector also, the Ladakh sector, where, right now the uh, talks for the resolution are, underway. There also at some areas, the Chinese, the so-called civilians from the Chinese, although they are just masquerading as civilians, they must be the defense of personnel only, right? They have come to our side and they have camped in the Indian territory as civilians, right? So that is how the, the Chinese, they are operating nefariously, and certainly that, must be taken care of by India in a very resolute manner. Fine. So I believe that is clear. Let's move to the next article. So this article concerns the MOU that was signed by the IEPFA with IGNOU to promote investor education, right, through Gyan Darshan channel. So let's take a look at what exactly is this article talking about. So first thing, that is what is important from prelims perspective, is that the Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority, IEPFA, then the Gyan Darshan channel, through which they are trying to broadcast all these things, right? So that is the Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority, IEPFA, that has signed an MOU with Indira Gandhi National Open University, right? The IGNOU or IGNOU as you call it. What is the objective of signing this memorandum is to achieve the mandate of investor education, their awareness and their protection by utilizing the tele-lecturing facility of the Gyan Darshan channel. So what exactly is the tele-darshan facility? See, it is going to be a live streaming of the lecture series on the Gyan Darshan TV channel, and this is going to be 24/7 initiative. So what exactly is IEPFA trying to do here or achieve here is that educate investors, right? Educate all the people who are who want to invest and who are certainly risking their money or maybe investing their money, and they are also undertaking some of the risks. So to educate those people, this is going to be conducted, right? And it is going to be a free series. It is going to be live telecasted, so anybody can benefit from it, right? And it is broadly a part of the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, that is the the celebration of the 75 years of India's independence. So that is also another aspect of it. So this is basically this might be asked by UPSC that whether it is a part of Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav, because certainly multiple ministries, multiple authorities, multiple bodies in the country, they are undertaking multiple things as to which are included under the Azadi Ka Amrit Mahotsav. Fine, chaliye. So let's take the question now. Hanji. So consider the following statements vis-a-vis Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority, that is IEPFA. First, that is the authority was brought into existence recently as per the announcement that was made in the Union Budget 2021-22. Second, it functions under the aegis of the Ministry of Commerce and Industry. And the third statement reads, it was established under the provisions of the Companies Act 2013. So what do you think should be the answer here? That is either just 1 only, 2 and 3 only, 1 and 3 only, or just 3 only. This is regarding the IEPFA that we have just discussed in the previous article, in this article only, right? So please try and answer this question. See, any body for that matter which is in news, that becomes automatically important for for your exam perspective. So I'll just take a halt. Please try and mark your answers here. Okay, great. So right, I believe that you must have commented by now your answers in the comment section. So when you talk about the Investor Education and Protection Fund Authority, so it was not brought into existence recently, right? Which was the year it was brought into existence? Can anybody mark in the or type in the comment section? कौन से साल में इसको existence में या इसको जो है create या establish किया गया था? It was certainly not established as per anything. It has got nothing to do with the Union Budget 2021-22, right? So the first statement will be incorrect. Then when you talk about the second statement that it functions under the Commerce and Industry Ministry, that is also incorrect. कौन सी मिनिस्ट्री है इसके अंडर ये ऑपरेट करती है? That is the Ministry of MCA, that is Ministry of Corporate Affairs, under which it operates, right? So it is MCA under which the IEPFA operates. So that is going to be Ministry of Corporate Affairs and not the Commerce and Industry Ministry, right? Then when you talk about the last statement, that is it was established under the provisions of the Companies Act 2013, then this is precisely true, right? That under section 25 of Companies Act, original act is of 1956 and it was amended in 2013. Major amendments were brought, so the third statement will be true. So the answer will be D, that is only the third statement stands to be correct, right? So let's take a look at IEPFA. I believe this is clear that only the third statement is true, right? And answer will be D for question number 3. So let's take a look at this thing basically here. So look, when you talk about the the domain under whose or the ministry under whose domain it functions. So as far as the administrative control is concerned, so that is with the Ministry of Corporate Affairs, right? So it was established in 2016 to promote the protection and awareness of the investors, right, under the section 125 of Companies Act 2013, right? So that is with respect to IEPFA. Chaliye, so moving to the next article now. This article here talks about the power grid and Africa 50, which have engaged in this joint development agreement. So what exactly is Africa 50 and what is this agreement about? Let's take a look at. So what becomes important from your prelims perspective is India and Africa, the engagement which we are having with Africa. See, this here is important. Africa is important. Why? Because the Chinese, they have already made huge, deep inroads into Africa. They have made huge investments. They are undertaking multiple infrastructure projects, and they're certainly trying to, outdo India here, outmaneuver India here as far as our presence is concerned. So it is important that we also try and, as per, certainly we cannot match up the capacity which the Chinese are having in terms of their financial heft, but still we can, in our own way, we can innovate and we can try and build our own links, our own connectivity, our own relationship with Africa. Right. So that is important from prelims perspective, apart from the Africa 50 and the power grid, which we are going to discuss here. So first things, that is Power Grid Corporation of India Limited, that is Power Grid, they have signed a joint development agreement with Africa 50. Now, what is Africa 50? It is a pan-African infrastructure investment platform. That is, they undertake, investments for multiple or for a host of infrastructure development projects, right? And through that, India has enrolled itself, or India is jointly developing some of the projects. So right now, this is with respect to especially the Kenya transmission project, right? So as far as the Kenya transmission project is concerned, this is a PPP basis project, that is a public-private partnership which is involved, which is the mode of development, and India is developing that project along with Africa 50. So here you have the Lesos and Lusuk, this transmission line, and the Kisumu Musaga. These transmission lines are, being developed under the PPP mode of development. So why they are important? They are important precisely because, you see, once these are going to be developed, this here is important, this point here, that once these are going to be developed, this is going to be the first independent power transmission in Kenya, right? So that is why it is important, right? And certainly we are engaged in it, so that also is, that makes it important from the exam perspective as well, right? So remember this particular thing, that it is going to be the first independent power transmission in Kenya, right? This last statement here. Chaliye. So let's move to the question now. Yes, so which of the following statements is or are correct? First, Africa 50 is an infrastructure investment platform that contributes to Africa's economic growth by developing and investing in infrastructure projects. The first statement. Second statement, Africa 50 currently has 31 shareholders comprised of 28 African countries, the African Development Bank, the Central Bank of West African States, that is BCAEAO, and last, the Bank Al Maghrib. So what do you think are exactly, the shareholders for Africa 50 with which India has made this collaboration right now? Okay, so I'll take a hold for a couple of seconds. Until then, you can mark your answers regarding Africa 50 here. Okay. चलिए ठीक है. So look, when we talk about Africa 50 here, certainly we have discussed that it develops infrastructure projects, right? It's an infrastructure investment platform which tries to channelize the money for the projects which are, which may be bankable, which are worthy of developing, right? And which can certainly be feasible. So first is correct. Then when you talk about the current shareholding, then 31 members are the shareholders for Africa 50, which is, a very large initiative. And it consists of 28 African countries, the African Development Bank, the Central Bank of Western African States, and the Bank Al Maghreb. So where is this Bank Al Maghreb also situated? Please mention in the comment section. Where is this Bank Al Maghreb located? Okay, so as far as question 4 is concerned, what will be the answer? Answer will be C. That is the correct statements. Both 1 and 2 are correct. Right? Chaliye. So let's move to the answer. Let's move to the next article. Question 4 answer is C. So that brings us to the last question for the day, that is, which of the following statements is or are correct about Sultanpur National Park? The first statement, that is, every year migratory bird species in excess of 100 arrive at the Sultanpur in search of feeding grounds to pass the winter. That is the first statement. The second, the climate witnessed here consists of harsh summers, a rainy season that is short from July to end of August. Hanji. So this is another important Sultanpur National Park, or another important national park that was, that was heard in news, or that was seen in news of late. I believe that you'll be able to crack this question. This is, something which is, I believe, is answerable. Chaliye, great. So let's discuss the first statement. Then, when you talk about the first statement, that is, every year you have migratory bird species which en route to Central Asian countries, maybe, right? They make the Sultanpur area as their breeding grounds, as their feeding grounds, and they stop here. They could take a stop by here while they are traversing the land. So the first statement is correct, right? That is the feeding ground area. Then when you talk about the second statement, then this is the typical North Indian climate which you talk about, right? Which we all witness here, that we have harsh summers which might go up to 46 degree. We have chilly winters also right now, which we are witnessing, maybe chilly spate also. Then apart from that, when you talk about the rainy season, then this area witnesses a short rainy season. So that particularly is the climate which is described, or which is apt for the region. So your answer will be C. That is, both 1 and 2 are correct here. Right. So let's quickly take a look at the map. So here you can see, when you talk about this particular area here, right, the area of National Capital Region NCR and Gurgaon, right, or Gurugram as you want to call it. So the number 2 in the index is concerning the Sultanpur National Park here, right? In the index you can see, and this precisely is the area where you have the Sultanpur National Park situated in the state, or in the city, that is Gurgaon, right? So that is the location of the national park. Chaliye, so that brings us to the end of this session. This you can certainly read all these birds, they are the migratory birds which make the panorama a very picturesque one in the Sultanpur area. So thank you so much for joining in. I believe that you were able to enhance your understanding, right? And I urge that all of you stay safe, stay indoors as far as it is possible, and study well. So I'll see you tomorrow. Until then, stay safe, take care, Jai Hind, and bye bye.